friends. Yep. In case our friends who can't make it today, they get a chance to see it. We're going to record our meeting so that we can put it on our Facebook page or our web page so that other families can have access to this information. All right, sounds good? So if you're nervous about that, I want to be really upfront and say, hey, we're recording a meeting. There it is. There it is. Okay. I know what I can do. Yep, the chat's open. Okay. All right, so let's jump into it. We at 44. Let's jump into it. Welcome, 606 Coit Creative Arts meeting. This is our return to learn meeting. So you all know that we're scheduled for January 4 to come back to school in a hybrid fashion and in a virtual fashion. So in order to do that, we have to plan. And we're doing the best that we can to get as much information out to you, to your children, and to other caregivers and community members, so that we are all in the know. Now, the thing is, stuff changes all the time. As of today, a huge change has happened to all of us here in Michigan, right? And I won't say huge, maybe it is to some, but you know, we have 3 weeks where we're going to kind of slow it down so we can try to get ahead of this virus, right? So understand that there are a lot of things that are changing and there are a lot of unknowns that come with that. So with that, we're going to jump right into the meeting, okay? Jump right into the meeting. Thank you guys for already being on mute. I don't know if I already did that to you. I've been in the kindergarten classrooms a lot lately, and I stay on mute for a lot of our sessions, and I have to unmute them on my own. So thank you guys for already being ready for our class today. So again, like I said, here's our disclaimer already off the top. Things might change about our plan. Things might change. These plans are subject to change. And everything is coming from the Center for Disease Control, the Department of Human Health Services, and the Kent County Health Department. Everything's coming from there. So it's not like we're just making decisions because we can and because we want to. We do follow a guideline in order to close schools, open schools. All of this is based on some specific guidelines. At the end, you're going to see this dashboard, right? And I do have, I don't know if she's here yet, but our school nurse, Nurse Amanda, will be here today, and then she'll kind of unpack that piece for you so that you can see it, understand it. She'll break that piece down, and I'm so grateful for her for jumping on because I think that's a good piece to really unpack so you guys can see with transparency what we're doing and how we're doing it. All right. As you can see, I went through the PowerPoint. I highlighted certain things that I really wanted you to look at, right? There's a lot of information here, but what I highlighted is what I want you to pay attention to. So you see December 17th, we do have a goal to try to inform you as much as possible about what January 4 is going to look like. December 17th, that's the day. So please, please, please don't be mad at us if that day comes and we don't have all the information, right? Things might change. We're going to do our best, right? So you've been doing well so far. Let's keep that same energy with being patient with this whole entire school year. All right. Those are our disclaimers. All right. Good. We're all still here. I love it. I love it. We're at 45. All right. So right now, the new health epidemic order right now, we're on pause. It's from November 18th, starting today all the way to December 8th. We're just kind of on pause. So that means chances are we will not be in the building during this time. Now I know we were doing supplies and things like that, but staff will not be in the building during these times. But this is what it looks like for at a blimp level, right? So the things that are still open, 2 household gatherings. You know, the holidays are coming up. I know people want to see their loved ones, but they're recommending, hey, 2 household gatherings. Take your high precautions. I know you want to see grandma. I do too. I do. I understand. But try to keep it to 1 or 2 families when you're coming together. If you still want to go outside, that's up to you. All right, it's cold. I'm good. I'm in. I'm ready. I'm shutting down. I'm already getting ready for the transition. I'm not going outside, but if you must, you can go outside and still gather, but with 25 people. Okay. Retail chains are still doing what they're doing. Preschool through 8th grade, they're still rocking and rolling. Because you remember the governor said high school, right? High schools are taking the virtual path right now. So child cares are still open and running. Construction places and manufacturing, they're still working and doing what they can do. Public transportation is still a thing. Hair salons, so if you need to go get touched up, you can still do that. Guys, if you want to go get buttered up, we call it getting it buttered up. You want to get buttered, you still have a chance to do that. All right. Gyms, if you do something like CrossFit or Fit Body, I used to do Fit Body, the group workout. Yeah. A lot of individual places will let you still work out right now. Restaurants and bars, that stuff is right now is outdoor and takeout and delivery. Professional sports, some of you've been watching NFL on TV, you watch the bubble, you're watching soccer, and you can look in the stands and see it's still limited at the professional level, but they're still doing what they do. Outdoor things and recreations are fine, all right? Outdoor events, funerals up to 25 people, and then healthcare facilities. Our healthcare facilities are working hard, guys. I'm telling you. So please be mindful of that. Sorry, I just had a kid moment. You guys know how that is. The things that are not open, I mentioned high schools, colleges, and universities. The in-person aspect of it, they're not open. Workplace, they're saying when you can work from home, right? Talked about restaurants and bars. We talked about professional sports group. I mentioned all these different things, right? So this is just an infographic that shows you what's open and what's not. We good in the chat, Dr. Krylan?
We are all good.
All right, because you know I can go. I can talk for about 6 hours straight. I promise you.
I've got a timer. We're good.
All right. Oh man. I apologize. This didn't update. It didn't put my time there. I'll have to put that in there. So this is our return to plan. This is our overview, right? This is just an overview of what it's going to look like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send a more detailed mailing so that you guys can kind of see exactly what we're asking, what we're needing prior to coming back January 4th. So I'm thinking once we come back from our current situation on December 8th, we're going to have a packet ready to roll out that says, hey, this is what it looks like in more detail. And what I mean by that is arrival. I am so upset because this is not the right, doesn't have my times on it. Okay. I apologize. I'll fix it before I save it and send it out. But yeah, I'll send a more detailed oriented list that shows, hey, this is what it looks like for arrival. This is what it looks like for classes, lunches this time, recess, all those good things. But I want to give you an overview of the schedule, right? This is what it's going to look like for cohort A. The red indicates that you're going to be in the building on cohort A. If you are not in cohort A, you're not in cohort A. On Mondays and Tuesdays, this white indicates that you're at home. Only cohort A is in the building on Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays, everybody's out of the building. And then on Thursdays, that's when cohort B comes on in and get their learning. And cohort A is at home doing seesaw, art, music, PE, Spanish, those things. We went from a Tuesday morning meeting to a Monday morning meeting. And then we'll possibly go into a Wednesday morning meeting, right? So that shift is happening, and it'll look something like this for those of us that are coming back hybrid. Our school day starts at 9:10, and that's what was here, 9:10, and we will dismiss around 4:06 for the time that you're in building learning. Here's what the virtual look like. These guys be going to school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, all live teaching. It's like what we have right now. Instead of it being Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be Monday, Tuesday. Everybody's off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Any questions in the chat that need to be brought up, or you're knocking them out?
I'm knocking them out, and I'm actually restating what you're saying, so it's there for our times and when we're sending out our packets.
All right, perfect. We look good. We're at 48. We're climbing. All right, 48. So the next part, this is what it looks like for our teachers. This is who's going to be teaching in our hybrids. Our hybrid section. So you have kindergarten, so in person. Miss Ryers, Miss Humphrey for first grade, second grade, Miss Hamill, Miss Renberg for third grade, Miss Jones for fourth grade, Miss Westover for fifth grade. Then our MOSI and pre-K teachers will be doing hybrid as well. Virtual teachers will be, I talked about kindergarten, right? Well, I'm kind of teaching kindergarten right now. We got a team that's taking care of kindergarten. We're looking to hire somebody super soon. So that's super exciting. I'm just waiting on all that to go through. But for first grade, we have Miss Hartman. Second and third grade, we have Miss Herman. And fourth and fifth grade, we have Mrs. Sheldon. Right? All of you should have received a letter a few weeks ago from me indicating your selection and indicating who your teacher's going to be and indicating your cohort. Right? You guys still have, you can look at that, and based on, you have until November 24th at 11:59 p.m. to make a change. Now, I want to say this to you guys because this is why it's important to make that change sooner than later. If we wait too long, what happens is on November 24th, I'll get all these changes, and that's going to shift all of our numbers as far as classes, class size, and that's going to throw us off on what spacing looks like. If I know this sooner than later, we'll be able to tackle it up front, get it done. But I think for the most part, we're good. But every day I'm getting a new person that's switching, which I understand. But just do your best to try to get that in sooner than later, because I do want to accommodate your request.
Dr. McGee, can you tell them where to make that change?
So you can definitely call into the office. We still have contact. You can call into the office and talk to Miss Kara, and she can definitely make that change for you. We wanted to go through her, so we have it in one place. It's good to let your teachers know if you want to give them the heads up, but don't solely rely on the teachers or telling Miss Berg if you're talking to her, or if you're talking to Miss Cindy. That's great. But make sure you call the office and let Miss Kara know. Or if that doesn't, work out, leave a message so we have it there in the office. We want it in one centralized location so that we can make the most effective changes that we can. Am I missing anything on that, team?
I think you've got it, Dr. McGee. And again, we are honoring all the original requests and those that were made. The first round we did when we were preparing to open in October or return to school in October. So again, check that letter and let us know if there are changes. And we always want to be proactive. So earlier the better, to echo Dr. McGee.
Perfect. All right, let's get into some nitty gritty. We're at 47. Somebody left us. Okay. All right. Now my feelings are starting to get hurt a little bit. All right. Here we go. I'm going to have to call Miss Perry in here, start singing. Maybe that'll get some more people on. So I know one of the things that you're thinking about is like, what are some symptoms that I need to look out for, right? Here's what we put together. All right. If your child has any of the following, please keep them at home. Coughing. This is when you keep them at home. Also here and it's highlighted here. Also, if there's somebody who you've had close contact with or live with who tested positive, you might want to keep them at home. If you have anybody in your house that's awaiting results, yep, keep them at home. Or traveled outside the country in the last 14 days, right? Stay at home, right? So in this orange here, it's talking about you cannot return for in-person instruction for 14 days from the day you returned back to the country. So that's a big deal, because when you go on break, a lot of times people will travel, and some people will. So if that is the case, keep these things in mind. However, there are times when I had a situation with one of my kids. He caught a cold, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do?" He has a cold. He's coughing. It's a new cough, and I think he's warm and he's cold. So I looked at all these different things, and I started saying, "He has all this," you know, and he had a cold, and so. But if you, or asthma, right, and you have some of these symptoms because of a pre-existing condition, right? If you have a symptom that has a clear alternative diagnosis, call the nurse to see what the proper protocol is or the proper decision you should make in order to coming to school, right? But just be mindful that you might have to provide some level of proof. You know, at Quake Creative Arts Academy, we're all about, we're trying to soar. So safety is our first expectation. So that's what I wanted you to know from this slide right here. There are different ways to keep your child at home. It's looking like we're going to have a daily student health screening requirement. Every single day, you'll get a correspondence that says, "Hey, check these things off. This is your school," and the information is going to come to the school. And we at the school are going to look at that information to determine what action needs to be taken, right? So this is where parents have to be super diligent about this stuff, right? Make sure you're doing this every single day. I know what it's like because I'm doing it right now, right? I'm used to it now, but it's going to happen. It's looking like on a daily basis, or a daily health screening requirement. And this is done, you know, in conjunction with the Kent County Health Department.
Dr. McGee, can you share how doing our daily health screenings and this model would affect attendance, or what our attendance requirements would look like in this model?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know right now off the top of my head. I don't have the exact details on what that's going to look like as far as what that attendance look like. Is that going to be, absent excused? Is that going to be principal excused? I'm going to write it down though, because I don't want to give you an answer that's totally wrong or inaccurate. That's probably a better term. So I will write that down, because that's a really good question. Right? Because what happens is, they could still operate in the asynchronous realm of learning during that time, but they'll be slated to be either cohort A or B, right? So I get that. And I don't know if anybody has any information on that. Just to do a quick shout out, my executive director of elementary is Matthew Beersford. He's on the line too, and he's kind of hanging out here, taking it all in. But please feel free to jump in if there's anything that I misinterpret or I get wrong, or you have some insight on.
Okay, Ann was on point with that the district is exploring. What would it look like if we just launched K-8 or just pre-K 5, to start in January. So we're looking at all different options and talking to our neighbors across the state. So that's the only contribution I can give from the district level right now.
Thank you so much. So I'm writing that down. What does that look like? Okay. Next, 4 steps. This is what you do if your student or your child tests positive or is a close contact. All right, keep them at home. We talked about that part. Keep them at home. Immediately notify the school and or the school nurse. Step 2. Your doctor, your healthcare provider, follow the guidance from them and the school nurse, because they're going to give you some information. So follow that. And if a student or staff member tests positive or is a close contact, this is a staff member or a student. A communication is going to be sent, email, text message, and posted on our webpage. We're going to try to do this within 24 hours. But here's the highlighted part. And you see that. The goal is the same day, within 2 hours of first being notified. So that's the goal. We want to try to do it in 24 hours, but we're going to try to do it in 2 to the best of our ability. And I believe in the team. We'll work really hard to make that happen. All right. And here's just a little sample of what that letter might look like. The person or persons will not be identified. I want to just make that clear. The letter will look something like this, so that we're all in the know, but you're not in the know so much that you know who these people are, their names out there. We don't want that. Mass expectations. Now this is a big one. This is a big one. All right. So when we're in school, everybody's going to wear a mask. Everybody has to wear a mask. All students are to wear a mask at school for the safety of themselves, others, and the entire school community in general. Everybody. Now, some people might not be able to tolerate a mask, right? We're gonna need some documentation from your healthcare provider, from that your doctor, right? So in the sense that even puts them in the high risk category. So here are all the things, for accommodations that might be available for such a situation. We also have a plan, a flow chart, if you will, for a student who has an accommodation for not being able to wear a mask. One thing I do want to say, that's highlighted here, in the event, we'll take no, that's not what I want to say. I want to talk about if, like I said, if there's an issue with the mask, there'll be an ask to say, you know what, we can't make these accommodations. The virtual option might be the best option for your child. This is a health and safety thing, right? So we'll do the best that we can to accommodate, but understand at the end of the day, there may be the virtual option might be the best option at that time. Any questions about this part? The mass expectations and process? And I'm okay if you come off mute and talk too. You don't always have to type. Some people don't like type. It takes too long and you just need to say it. I'm okay with that. All right. Cleaning. We've been practicing, right? We haven't had students in the building, but we've had staff come in. We've been practicing, guys. We've been practicing. We wear masks, we wash our hands, and we practice social distancing. And I think it's cool because I think we do it fairly well in the building. Sometimes it's only 6, 7 people in the building at the time, but even when we have conversations, we're distanced every time. Like I really believe in our team. So if we're practicing, we're going to practice. We're going to play like we practice, right? So when it does come time, January 4, we're going to be ready, right? We're going to be ready. So as far as cleaning is concerned, we're definitely using the right products. We're practicing immediately cleaning surfaces that are soiled, right? So if it's in a soiled area, it's going to be clean. The surfaces that are touched frequently, doorknobs, rails, handles, elevator buttons, things like that, we're going to get those cleaned the most frequent. Here's one I want to highlight for you, right? Coy Creative Arts is an art school. We do all kind of creative things. That means we have supplies outside of just crayons, markers, and scissors and glue sticks. But we don't want students sharing. We don't want them sharing, right? Now, that's a hard ask on elementary students, right? Personally, I'm worried about the hugging. I'm like, yo, hugging, you good? I know you're happy to see. Okay, here we go. All right. I know that's going to be a thing. Sharing items at lunch. I know at lunch, I put on my police hat, and what I'm doing is I'm watching for people sharing food. I try not to let kids share food. So sharing of any items is going to be a focus, right? Because that's a number way to spread a virus, the cold virus, anything, is when you share, touch your face, right? So I want to highlight that area of importance right there. So we're going to try to keep our students' belongings separated. Things are going to be, they have their own tubs. We have a plan to keep all this where they can have their own things in their own space. So yeah, we're going to really push this hygiene create a culture of hygiene. All right. And we're going to talk about it all the time, include it with our PBIS and everything that we do. All of our social emotional learning, we're going to put it all there. I talked about food. Here we go. School meals and grab and go. All right. We will be providing breakfast and lunch at the school. All right. We're going to be using the cafeteria primarily. We have a plan. We think it'll work with the number of students that are coming in. We'll be able to utilize the cafeteria. Here's why. Some people are probably saying, why can't we just have them go in the classroom? That's an option, but it's like last resort because, again, you're going through the building, you're getting food, you're coming back to the to the classroom. That means more people are in that classroom, more cleaning has to happen. I mean, it becomes super cumbersome, right? So what we're going to do is we have a plan to where we can use the cafeteria. And if you've seen our cafeteria or gym, it's huge. And if we have half the students, we'll be able to do this in a really smooth way. I think it'll work. But if it does not work, we do have a plan to look at other options. But as of right now, our plan is to use our cafeteria for our breakfast and our lunch. If you are virtual, please know that you can come to the school. You can come to the school and get meals. You can get your grab and go meals from 12:30 to 1:30, and you can come to the school and get that, right? And a team, I want to make sure that we put that in our packaging because I know that's not in there. We got to make sure we put that in our packaging as that's going out in December. All right, we are rounding the corner, guys. Good work. Technology. Many of you already have technology from the school appointed, school distributed technology. The expectation is that the students will bring their technology to school. At least that the district provided technology. Bring that to school with them for their learning. This is a huge responsibility on the kids, right? We have to bring that to the school, and that's what they're going to use. If you have issues with your device, please go ahead and get those taken care of. You can still call that 616-301-1111 number to get that taken care of. I know sometimes you might have had a situation where they might have been broke or they stopped working. Give it a call. Get it swapped out. Get it taken care of. And the red is when they're offering the service centers are open. So Tuesdays 9 to noon, Thursdays 1 to 6. We're good? Questions on that? How many people are using transportation? Relying on busing to get your kids to school? Just quick show of hands. I'm just curious. Okay. Busing details are going to be sent in the mail to you. If you are getting transportation, that's going to come in the mail. But here's a couple of things that we really want you guys to understand about transportation. Yep, masks are required, of course. They're going to be assigned seating. Assigned seating. It's already going to be set up prior to the first day of the busing, right? The first 2 seats are going to be empty. And then if you have siblings riding on the bus, they can sit together. That's going to help huge. That's going to be a huge help. But transportation is going to give you all that information prior to us getting out for the holiday break. Updating contact. This is huge because if anything goes down, if your child gets sick or what have you, we want to be able to contact you. Please make sure that all your information is updated so we can call the right people, right? If we can't get in touch of mom or dad or auntie or stepdad, whoever's a primary contact, we start going down the list on the emergency contact list. And we want to be able to get your child to you and to the safest place possible in a timely fashion. So this is going to be paramount, guys. This is going to be paramount. So I'll put this in a link in Seesaw because I don't know if it'll be here, but I also put this link in Seesaw so you guys can have that. If you need to update your form, right? You know, update your form. And here's the thing: in order for us to make those calls, right? There's a consent. You got to say yes. You have to opt in. You have to opt in. So we're going to need that information from you. So we'll have this link here that you can go ahead and click and get that consent so we can do our part to make sure that we are all good and we can communicate with you.
Dr. McGee, we have a few questions that just from we've touched on is that grab and go meals. If you're closer to another school, can you go and pick them up from that school? Like say you live by Brookside. Can you go over?
Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about sharing supplies. And we know that kids have district devices. So do they have to bring them every single day and take them home every day? Or can they leave them in the school building and use their personal ones at home?
No, that's a great question. I think they should take them with them because they still have, if you're cohort A and you come in on Monday and Tuesday, we don't have school Wednesday, you still have work on Thursday, Friday. So they're going to need their devices for home to do their work. Unless I'm missing it, that's my response to that one.
And I would just follow up from the district perspective. Even if they have a personal device that lets them get on Seesaw from the house, we still want them to have the district device at the house just in case something goes down on Wednesday and we have to pivot and stay virtual and they don't come back for a hybrid on the next Monday.
Great point. Any other questions, Dr. Kraft?
No, we're good.
All right. Thank you for those questions. So as we round out, the consent forms was the last piece. Is Nurse Amanda here? I don't know. Oh, there you are. There you are. So we have a metrics dashboard that allows us to, clearly make decisions. All right, how we make decisions. And I'm gonna let Nurse Amanda go ahead and explain. I'll do the updated one. I'll let Nurse Amanda go ahead and explain what this looks like, how this works. Nurse Amanda, the floor is yours.
Well, hi. I don't have very good lighting. I'm in my basement. Can everybody hear me okay? Cool. So I wish I could take credit for this dashboard, but my fearless supervisor, Kim Barron, was on a team that put this together. And what you're looking at right now is our numbers from last week. So if you look on the left-hand column, it just describes the metric itself, which is, let's see, the top one says county positivity rate. Next one down is the GRPS incident rate. And for that, we just look at not the total numbers throughout the area, but the cases per every 100,000 people. And we got these recommendations from all the way over on the right-hand column. You can see where we got these numbers from, Kent County Health Department. They partnered with us to figure out how to frame these numbers. So like I said, rather than just listing how many numbers we've had, put it in terms of every 100,000 people. That way it's in the same framework as what you see from like the CDC and the health department, and you can compare area to area, zip code to zip code, that sort of thing, county to county. So as you can see, we had a really low number of GRPS incident rates. This is over the last 14 days, we had 0. We have had a few, like a small handful of cases, but just not in the last 14 days. So overall as the district, we've done really well, a really good job of staying distanced and using our PPE and doing well with that. The county, however, not so much. If you can go back to the previous slide, it shows what our, there we go. And that third column, the risk levels, how we can see ourselves in low, moderate, higher, or highest risk levels. Right now, the county is pretty high. We've probably all been hearing about it, but I think we are in the highest for, I'm sorry, the county incidents. So I think it said, can you go back to the next slide? Sorry, it was like 700. Oh no, I'm thinking of the fourth one. So 102, definitely in the higher category, but it's county incidents per 1 million is a failing grade of E down below that. So, and that,
Oh, wow.
so you can, I don't know, Dr. McGee, if you wanted to like toggle back and forth a couple times so people can see the risk levels, like what we're aiming for. Like in this second column from the left where it says target, you can see really what our goal is. We expect, you know, with elementary schools, there could be some spread within the schools, but what we've seen overall in our county and across the country, and even in other countries who have been open for a while, is the elementary schools as a rule do a really good job of minimizing and limiting the spread. And even a lot of the cases we've had within our district have been from events outside of school. Cases are spreading from sports, events outside of the actual school day. So we feel confident that we can do this safely, but we do need to look at this dashboard to make solid, educated decisions. So I was in a parent meeting for another school that I work in recently, and parents were asking, so how do we make the decision as a district when we want to close? What numbers are we looking at? And collectively, we were looking at all of this information, but now we can at least say we have it all in the same place. Parents can see the exact same information that our superintendent and our whole administration is seeing. There's not any magic formula that we're looking at as far as whether or not we feel safe to stay open or close or do hybrids, but we can take all this and look to make an educated decision. I can't say, oh, we're doing well in 3 of these categories, so we can open. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately, because there's so many things to consider that are not able to be quantified. Like in this bottom row, across the bottom where it says other information, I'm sorry, it's a little blurry on my screen, but I think it says something about hospital capacity numbers. And then all the way over to the right, you can see links. Once this goes live, you will be able to follow all of these links, and you can see the different hospital systems in our area, what their capacity is like, because that can change from day to day, week to week, and they will be reporting it, and we can access it through these links, but we don't exactly have a grade, like an A if we're doing really well, or all the way down to E for failing. It's just not that simple, because they can change their capacity by like opening a different unit, closing, deciding not to accept new patients, or whatever it is that they're dealing with on the day-to-day level. And there's another link on here too. I think it might be the CDC one. Kim was saying that, yeah, I want to say it's either the Kent County link or the CDC link. Kim Barron, my supervisor in the health services department, was saying that you can click one of these links and it'll let you search by zip code, by school, and you can look for a lot deeper information about your area and see how the people around you specifically are doing. So I know it's a lot of information and it can be kind of daunting to look at. So I just thought I could be here to answer questions if anybody had them.
Thank you, Nurse Amanda. Any questions for her about the metrics dashboard or any other thing health related? Again, we wanted to just show you that when decisions are made, it's not just made in a vacuum, right? There's metrics that we follow that are aligned with the county, and state, and CDC. So we wanted you to know.
Dr. McGee?
That is what we have so far for our presentation today. We want to keep you guys in the know, let you know what it looks like. And like I said earlier, we're going to give you, we're going to get some information out to you that really spells out what the return is going to look like, from building procedures, processes, lunch and recess, all that stuff, right? We'll roll that out once we get back from our break here.
Dr.
So-
McGee, when does the dashboard go live?
I don't know the answer to that. When does this go live? Is it already on the, I don't know if it's on the website yet. I don't know that time or date.
It's not yet. I think they were hoping to have it up by now, but it's just been getting delayed. So I think they're working hard on it. So hopefully soon, maybe as early as next week.
Anything else? I gotta tell you, you guys are a wonderful audience, especially coming from a kindergarten classroom. You guys are pretty good, pretty good. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But listen, you know, Coit, we care about you guys. We do. We absolutely do. And we work hard to try to be of support, to be informative, and to definitely care. So this is us doing our part. We would have done this even without having to do it because, you know, the entire district is trying to communicate a similar communication to everybody. So please keep checking into our Coit cafes, either with myself or with Miss Cindy and the highlighted person of the cafe. And the last time it was Miss Berg. Please keep jumping into those and come with your questions. Super informal, right? Allows us to talk, to vent about anything, right? And yeah. Anything else before we get out of here, Dr. Crowley? Anything?
I asked Dr. Krylan, and then she wanted me to elaborate. This is Whitney, by the way.
Yeah,
Hi.
I'm like, who's talking? Go for it.
My question was, if right now we're leaning toward virtual still, but will there be a reevaluation after that first marking period going back where we can say we're comfortable, maybe we want to come back in person after that first marking period in the winter? Or are we virtual for the entirety of the school year at that point? Do we know?
Good question. Good question. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Matthew, you have anything on that?
Yeah, the decision is just for marking period 3, so the next 9 weeks and starting in January. And then there would be another survey and decision for marking period 4 to give parents another choice.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Tidwell.
Okay, so I understand what you just said, you know, as far as the next survey or whatever, but we had a survey last time and it was whoever choose, you know, the parents that choose in person or hybrid or whatever, it became null and void because, so because Whitmer said it, so that can get overturned so the survey really doesn't matter, right? Because if the governor says, hey, nobody can go to school, then nobody can go to school no matter what the survey says. Because I took the survey and my baby needs to be in person, like really bad. And I've talked to, Dr. McGee and Dr. Krylan, and, my concern more is, her mental than the virus, because the mental is going to stay around. The virus is just, if it gets taken care of, then it gets taken care of. But my daughter's mental is going to, be around. So, like, I guess my question is, how much does the survey matter?
The survey matters for parent choice, because there are some parents that say, even if you open the school, I still want the
Right.
virtual. But
Right.
you're right, we have to follow the state health department and then our local health department's, guidelines based on the science. But it is very interesting that on this latest executive order from the health department, they're saying pre-K-8 can keep rolling.
Right.
So if we would have already launched on October 24th, where we were planning on going hybrid, we could have kept that hybrid going even this week. So
my point, I was like, even if if she says, okay, just high school and colleges are shut down, elementary can still go. How many is there going to be enough teachers, and Dr. McGee, I know how, the school feels about the students and things of that nature, but is there going to be enough teachers, who are going to want to, come, even if, things go backwards, like they did with, October and whatnot? For the parents that do feel comfortable with sending their kids, everything is so unknown, Ashley, because it's just, we can have this meeting and we can have other meetings all the way up to January, but we still don't know for sure.
Right. And that's why, you have the plan in place, because if we do get a green light to go, we're ready. We're not going to lean on the fact that, oh, we might not, so let's not do anything. Right. If we have the plan, we're able to execute and implement the plan. So that's where, I lean, right? Because you're right. It very well could happen, and we're all done. A tornado could come through and tear the building up, and all other buildings are ready to go. And Quake, we have to do something different, and then the plan will be put in place, right? So yeah, I get your frustration. I get the uncertainty of things. And you definitely, you're a person, you need to know so you can plan and do what you have to do. I get that.
Absolutely.
I get that.
Single mothers and, my baby needs, and Dr. Krylan knows, my baby needs to be in school, needs that, face-to-face, needs that one-on-one. And it's like, it's getting to the point now, being that it's, we're going to be halfway through the school year. And now us as parents, we're able to see the effects that this is having on the children, and my baby needs to be in that building.
I understand, and with the meeting that we're having right now, the plans that we're putting in place, we're putting together the right recipe so that she can come back, but so what I'm saying is we're controlling what we can control at the end of the day, and we're trying to do it to a high level. So, because I want her back too.
Sorry, I was late. My bad.
Dr. McGee, can you flip to the next slide that you previously
This one, the other metric page, or
help me out, Mr. Halstead. If that's the right one you need.
The one he had up a second ago there.
Oh.
He had it right the first time.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
And I did zoom out. I'm sorry. But yeah, this will be, this PowerPoint will be available. The recording will be available. Any other questions? Christy, damn, I see your hand. Is your oh, I don't know if her hand
Yep.
was up.
Yep, yeah, it's up.
Oh, go for it.
When the superintendent, so the last time when hybrid was delayed, the superintendent mentioned exploring the possibility for some kids in special education of doing in-person pods, or just understanding that for some kids with special needs, that virtual, I know for many kids it's a struggle, but you know, for kids who are nonverbal and things, that they were looking into pods or something that even if the whole district wasn't running, that they could do in person. Do you know if that is still a conversation, or if anybody has talked more about that? It was kind of thrown into her discussion and not really elaborating. I haven't really heard anything else, so I thought I'd ask.
Right, I do remember that part, the learning pods. I think that's what we called them. Yeah, I'm not sure where we are with the learning pods. Matthew, you have anything on that?
I don't. I know that the special ed department is working on it. If you wanted to email the special ed department off the website, that'd probably get your best information.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I'm gonna look through one more time. If there's anything else. Thanks for being patient, guys. Thanks for being supportive, getting your kids on Zoom, working with them through asynchronous. Amber. I see a hand from Amber. Go for it, Amber. I feel like a radio host.
I think I got it now.
Yep.
So I guess my question is, you know, in the event that, you know, come January, there's still restrictions in place where, say, you know, high school and middle school can't go, but elementary school can. At that point, would you be looking at doing still the entire district, or would you split it up between like grades and?
You said split up between grades? What was the last part?
Split it up between, like, you know, because right now they're saying elementary school kids can go, but high school kids can't. So in the event that's still in place in January, are our younger kids that are going to be able to go, but our older kids that would say go to city wouldn't?
I believe that if there's a hard line like that, that would, I mean, I can see that working. I can see that being a possibility. But I don't know if that's something that, what that will look like. Will we come as a district together and say, all right, even though that's the case, you know, as a district, we're going to do this. So again, that's one of those ones that's a phenomenal question. I'll take it and write it down and look through that and get that to the right people. Or if Matthew has a perspective on that, since you're here.
We're certainly exploring it. I would say that, you know, that slide where you had December 17th on wanting to get a communication out to all parents, all GRPS parents on what the plan is. I think that's where you're going to see that detail come in if that's the decision the board wants to make.
I can't find it right now, so.
It's in the first slide or two, and it basically was saying that we know you need information too. There it is, December 17th. So if that's the decision the district's going to go in, then we should have it in that communication.
Okay, thank you.
I promise you, I'm really good with my wait time, and I just want to give it that space. But yeah, oh, see, every time I get ready to do my closing, the hand comes up. Go ahead, Miss Chandler.
Hi, Dr. McGee. Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. I want to say this because this is very important for me and my daughter, Brooklyn. You know, I work in a health field, and we are facing a crisis there. And today we were told that we have to be tested twice a week now. Knowing that the kids are not being tested and I'm being tested, we are getting higher rates every day. We have staff coming in tested positive. I don't feel comfortable knowing that I'm in a health field, coming home possibly can be a carrier. And then Brooklyn goes to school and then possibly spread it to another child. And then that continues. And because we're at a point where we're at, as I was told today, at 13.9%, that is extremely high. And I can't for the life of me want to put my daughter or anybody else's children in harm's way like that. And that's one of my biggest concerns that I have. And that's why, for me, I choose to have Brooklyn do virtual until it is safe. We are doing everything possible at our job to make sure we have National Guards at our facility working at the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans. They are doing testing the elderly every single week. Every time a staff comes in positive, each member has to be tested and retested every week. That's just how serious it is. If it's that serious for the elderly, why are we not thinking that it's that serious for a child? That's my issue. So when I go to work, I am possibly, don't never know when I'm coming home that I could be infected and tested positive. We get tested every week. Now, as of today, we were told that we have to be tested twice a week until further notice. And then after that, if it goes down below 10%, okay, then we still have to wait an additional 2 weeks after that. So for me to feel comfortable sending my daughter to school, knowing that, and I have a little cousin, 5 years old, who was going to the preschool over there by East Kentwood, who tested positive, and he's at home right now doing 14 days isolation, 5 years old. That is my biggest concern that I, as a parent, have. I understand each parent has to make a decision for themselves and for their child. But for me, it's my daughter's health, because the mental for me is more tolerable than not seeing my daughter ever again. I will never be able to tolerate that. So to send her to school, in my opinion, is the wrong thing to do, knowing that this is uncontrollable. That is my fear. So every day I step into this house, I don't know until my results come back whether I tested positive or not. So me being in a workforce and then Brooklyn going to the school is not a good thing. And then she will have to isolate. But by then, we don't know how many kids that she could have infected because of me, because I came home with a positive. And I'm an essential worker. I'm essential. I can't be at home. I have to go to work every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very difficult for me to do. Knowing every day I set a foot in that facility, knowing that every day that I could get infected. And we had just last week, 3 of our veterans, our dear veterans, passed away of COVID that didn't have to. So I see the severity of it every single day. And I see our doctors being tested positive that has to isolate our doctors. So I don't want anyone to feel like it's easy to minimize what I'm going through and what I'm seeing every day. It's not an easy thing, and I take it very seriously. So I just wanted to say that, and I understand the people's fear, and I fear it every day because I have to come home and strip down before I even come through the front door because I don't know what I'm bringing home. So it's that severe. If the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans is going to measures like that, and we're not doing that at our schools, something is really, really wrong with this system because they're doing everything possible to keep our members safe, including testing them every single week. Why aren't we doing that for our children? They're just as equally as important as well. And they're young, they got a whole life to live. And we're seeing a record high, all these children. They said it was the older population. Now we're seeing the children. Kids 5, 13, 14 years of age. And that's very difficult for me to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow. So when January 4th comes, I personally, if this is not controlled, I cannot see myself sending her in harm's way. So that's all I had to say. I'm sorry to be going on, but that is just why I'm so passionate about keeping her home. Because I know for myself, being in a health field, every single day, I'm seeing it every day. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing people who can't even come in to say goodbye to their loved ones. I don't want to be that parent that says goodbye to my little one, and I can't even go in a hospital to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you to say this, that is very, very serious, very serious. And it brings me to tears to know that I will put my child into a situation knowing that we could have did something about it that could have prevented it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Ms. Chandler, thank you for that. And I know how passionate you are, and it's not just about COVID, right? It's not just about the health care, and you're like this about everything when it comes to your child, right? So I understand that, and thank you definitely for being on those front lines and being that essential worker, because we get that. We get that. We hear it all over the news, but a lot of times we don't get that first person perspective like you just painted for us. So thank you, and understand that you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, where each parent makes that decision for themselves and their family. And this is the decision that you're making. And we respect that, because guess what? You care. You do. You do. So I thank you. And we'll take that. We'll take that. Thank you for having the space to be that vulnerable and sharing. I appreciate you. iPhone wanted to say something.
Hey, I don't know. Can you hear me right now?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I agree with her 100%. Like, I have 4 kids in the school, so it's kind of like, it's not an option for me to send them to school, but I also feel like doing the online learning is like torture for them. They are not doing well with it. They're having a really hard time, and mentally and emotionally it is like, I don't want to do that to them, but I really don't know what to do, because one part of me wants to just force them to do it, like, no, this is your work, you have to do it. But it is really like, it's like, I've seen similar behavior from them when they were going through grief after their grandma died. Like, this is the way that they're dealing with it is, it's really affecting them, and I can see it a lot. And just trying to sit there and do their work, help them with their work and everything. And they just get so, like, it's not the same as school, and they just get so worked up about it. So we decided as a family, we're not going to get so worked up about it. You know, if they're getting worked up about their seesaw and stuff, that's okay. You know, we're just going to go on Zoom every day and make sure that we're attending every day. And we're going to do, you know, if we can get one assignment done for the day, good. Because we decided as a family, if they had to repeat a grade, then that's better than how they were handling it at the beginning. But what I'm concerned with now is, you know, if they will have to repeat a grade, because I don't know how they're going to be graded and stuff. I don't know how far behind they're really getting from not doing all their assignments and things right now. And like a part of me just wants to say, you know, take them out of that. We'll just do school, like homeschooling, so that we can do what would suit us better as a family. But I don't want to take them out of Coit because they love Coit, you know, and I really don't know what to do right now, because I see it is just like destroying their personalities right now.
Yeah, I understand. And look, here's my short answer. Right? You're a parent of 4 kids, correct?
5.
Five
Yeah.
kids, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to do what's best for your kids. Period. We love you and all your children. But your job as a parent is to do what's best for your kids. That's your job. And I'll leave that right there. I understand where you're coming from. Just like in the chats, we know this is not easy on any front. It's not easy to sit in the principal's seat and make the decision that we have to make. It's not easy to sit in Matthew's seat and make the decisions that he has to make. It's not easy to sit in the superintendent's seat and make those. It's not easy to sit in the governor's seat. Can you imagine being a governor right now? Like, oh my goodness, right? Can you imagine being a kindergartner right now? Woo,
I know.
my goodness. Can you imagine being a 5th grader right now? Like, I can say that for any grade level, any school, any district, any industry, and I'll have the same response, because we're dealing with something that we haven't dealt with before. And it's hard on everybody. And I'm just glad that you had a chance to be able to put that out, because sometimes we just have to say it out loud. And what you said, and that's brave, because you're saying, hey, my kids aren't going to do every single seesaw assignment. Teachers, you might have to be mad a little bit, but you got to take care of them. That's a brave thing to say. So I appreciate that. We're doing our best to make this outcome to be the best that it needs to be at the end of all this. And the thing is, I can't see. I think I have supervision, right? I can kind of see. It's so blurry and uncertain. It just is. And so as long as we rock together, we're able to talk, we're able to come together and have those times where we can vent, bounce ideas off each other. This is happening all the time. We're sitting trying to figure out how to best intervene with certain grade levels or certain groups of kids. We're trying to figure it out the best way we know how. So thank you. And we've heard you loud and clear.
Dr. McGee, I'd love to add that what you've said really speaks to what this Coit community is, that we are a community and having this brave space to share. And as I just want to reiterate that Dr. McGee has said, having Coit Cafe with is a time to share with other parents, that Dr. McGee does his cafe with parents and he's doing it regularly so that you can talk with him. We're always here to have the conversation, and just that's what makes Coit so unique. And really, we are a family in this, and it's hard, but we're here to support each other.
Denise and Jen, if you haven't looked at the chat, just make sure you read through the chat comments, because there are people giving you positive feedback.
Oh, I never look at the chat. But it's being recorded. I'll look at it at some point. All right. Yeah, shout out to Anise. I see people shouting out Anise. Yeah. Yeah, these are not isolated situations, right? I'm seeing that in the chat. I love you took a step back and looked at the bigger picture. Getting worked up isn't worth it. We face the same struggle in our home. So see, people are with you. The whole experience has given me a new level of appreciation for educators. I miss Coit so much, and being able to put him in your capable hands, I feel unqualified for this. Yeah, teaching is interesting. I can't even imagine the struggle with two. I think you're doing the right thing by teaching them to do their best and let go of the rest. Keep it going. It will be okay. Right? I need that reinforcement. Right? So again, thank you guys. It's a lot in here. We're going to read, this is being recorded. So if you need to go back or point someone to it, please do. Because people need this information. And people also need to see that a lot of us are in the same boat. We feel the same way. We're going through the same thing. And we'll continue to do that from here all the way to the end. That's what we're here for. School is not just about academics and map testing, and it's not all about the creative presentations that we put on and the holiday concerts and all that good stuff. It's that and then some. It's the parents coming together and being able to have a space to talk. It's the kids being able to play at recess and eat lunch. It's the community partners being able to jump in and support and help, right? It's being able to sit down and say, hey, how do we support you in any challenge that you're facing, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. So we'll do our best to try to keep that going, right? And we'll do the best to continue to communicate with you guys and give you the space to be able to talk and keep you informed on everything Coit and GRPS related. As we, again, like I tell the staff, we build this plane as we fly it so that we can soar. We're in this plane together. And as we're flying the plane, we're building it. And we're building it with you in mind and with you. So again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending your time with me, with us. We appreciate you. And if there's anything else, you know how to get in touch with us. Email, Seesaw. We're doing our best to get to everybody. So I love you guys. Make it a great night. And tomorrow morning, we'll jump on Seesaw just like we normally do. Or we'll sit with our kids and do what we have to do and drink our coffee and see what the day brings. I love you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.